Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. I got the F80 out of the garage. We got the quick jacks out. What does that mean? We're actually going to be installing an exhaust on my friend's G80 M3. Now, you guys have seen me install quite a few exhausts on my F80, but this is a little bit different exhaust than I've seen people install. Most people install the Active AutoWorks single mid-pipe or a couple other brands. We're actually going to be installing an ARM Motorsports H middle pipe. A little bit different than what most people are used to with the single pipe as well as the X pipe. This is actually an H. I'll show you once he arrives and we'll kind of go over the details of it. But the difference, basically, X pipe gives a little bit more of an exotic raspy sound, where the H pipe is a little bit more deeper, a little bit more aggressive, and a little bit more, I guess, my style. Basically the same kind of scenario like the Active AutoWorks, where you have to cut the muffler off. So we're going to be doing a very, very similar process, and obviously give you guys some sound clips, let you know what it sounds like, and obviously how to install it. So my buddy's on his way over right now. So once he arrives and we kind of get everything unpacked and ready, we'll get started. All right guys, G80 is here. Unfortunately, cannot use the quick jacks. They're actually too short. The G80's jack pads are much longer than any other car I've ever used on the quick jack, so we can't use them. Not the biggest deal. I'm gonna put them on jack stands. I got the backup already, but I wanted to show you the mid pipe. This is the ARM Motorsports H pipe. As you can see, it kind of keeps the same design in terms of splitting off into two pipes as the stock, but then it comes down here and it goes into an H pipe. Now, once we get the stock one off, I'll compare it side to side, but basically we're removing 4 different resonators. There's 2 secondary cats up here, and then there's 2 resonators back here. So essentially 4 resonators being removed from the entire car. So it's gonna sound way, way better. So let me go ahead and get the car kind of situated on jack stands, then we can get going, and I'm gonna try to line things up on the car. If not, we'll just take the whole exhaust off and then figure out where to cut. But I have an idea of where to cut. Kind of looked up a few things, and it seems to be very, very similar to the Active and all the other mid pipes. So let me go ahead, get this situated, and then I'll catch back up with you guys in a little bit. All right, so we are up on the jacks and we are ready to go. So we're gonna actually be removing this cross pipe. That is a secondary cat. Same thing on the other side there. And then if we come back, there's 1 resonator and 2 resonator. So we're actually going to be cutting kind of around here. I'm going to kind of lay it out on the ground here and just kind of see where it lines up, and maybe try to hold it up to the exhaust. We'll see. We're going to start off by removing this brace. This is a 13 millimeter, I believe. Yep. So we're going to remove this first. Put these bolts to the side. We're going to be reusing this brace. Do the other side as well. All right, so I decided I'm going to leave the exhaust on the car because I kind of lined everything up, put it in the right position, and it's lining up exactly where you cut it with the Active AutoWorks and everything else. So if you look right here, kind of hard to see, but there are little dimples right there on the mid pipe, and that is actually where you're cutting. And I believe those are there for the M Performance muffler that you can get from the factory, because I believe that's where it needs to be cut. So they mark them from the factory like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark it up. As you can see, the connection point is right there. And there's still a little room for error, I guess, because you got the clamps. So there's still room to kind of move things around. But yeah, so I'm gonna cut right there, get that knocked out, and then we can take the mid pipe off. Okay, so we got the exhaust cut, everything looks good. So now we can go ahead and start removing the exhaust. So what we're actually gonna do is remove it from the hangers on either side, then go over to the downpipe area and disconnect the crossover pipe as well as the pipe right there. So let's go ahead and get that off. All right, so these bolts right here, the nuts are 13 millimeter. All right, guys, stock Midpipe is out. As you can see, we got 2 cats, the secondary cat's there, then 1, 2 resonators. I also removed the cross pipe, really simple. Everything is a 13 millimeter, super easy to get to. There's only just 2 13 millimeters on this bracket here. You got to remove those as well, obviously, connecting to the downpipe. But everything is removed, so I transferred over the donut gasket from here to here, and there's already still one on the downpipe for the passenger side. So I'm going to start by throwing in the crossover pipe here. Now keep in mind the crossover pipe is not included with the Midpipe. You have to buy that extra. So you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can keep the OEM crossover, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's not that much more to do that. So yeah, let's go ahead, throw this in. They do include some new bolts for right here, the connection to the one of these pipes, but there's studs on the downpipe for this one, and you just reuse the stock nuts. So let's go ahead, throw that in, then we'll just continue on down the exhaust. Over there. Ooh, transmission's on. On there. 13 on. I'm not going to tighten it yet because I want to align the exhaust first, but just get them in its place. Now let's move on to this one right here. Now let's get on the driver's side pipe here. Everything is lining up very, very nicely, and it has so much access compared to the F80. I feel like I can reach all the bolts, and they're all 13 millimeters, which is really, really nice. All right, let's throw this in and move on to the back section. All right, time for the H-pipe. Now there's 2 sets of clamps. There's smaller ones and larger ones. The smaller ones that look like this go to the muffler. Then the larger ones connect to the, I don't know what you want to call it, the Y-pipe or whatever, the ones that we just installed. So these go on this end, the bigger ones, and then the smaller ones go onto that to the muffler. So pretty straightforward. Yeah, I believe these are 16 millimeter on the clamps. Tighten everything down, line it up, and we should be good to go. All right, guys, so here's a quick look at everything. I'm just about to tighten everything down, but it looks really beautiful. Fitment, I'm very, very impressed with it. And yeah, I think this is gonna sound really, really good. So the bolts connecting up to the crossover pipe and the hangers and everything, those are 13 millimeter. And then the larger clamps that come with the mid-pipe are 16. There's enough clearance everywhere, but when you are tightening things down, just make sure you're positioning it right. I'm gonna start from the down pipes and work my way back, and then we can get our first start and hear this thing. After that, we'll go out for some sound clips. All right, guys, everything is tightened down, installed, looks beautiful, and everything just lined up perfectly. Now I'm gonna measure on the stock mid-pipe at the ends of where it cut, so you can measure back from the last resonator, so you guys know exactly where to cut instead of just guessing like I did. Thankfully I was right, but everything is looking perfect. I positioned the clamps back here on the inside and on these on the outside, because if you put them on the inside, they would obviously touch. So that's the best place for them. I was trying to angle them up a little bit, but I didn't want them to hit any of the heat shielding. So that is the best positioning for them. But yeah, I'm really impressed with the fitment. Everything bolted up perfectly. Obviously fitment is a big thing, but we all know the sound. We got to hear it. So let's start this up. Oh yeah, don't forget to put this on. I almost started taking it off the jacks and I was like, wait, I got to put this back on. So I'm going to throw this back on. Again, everything was the 13 millimeter, and then we'll be good. All right, guys, wrapped everything up, cleaned up most of the stuff. Cars are over there. We are about to go for a little bit of a drive, but what I wanted to do first is measure the cut on the mid-pipe so you guys know exactly where to cut. So let's just do this one. It's same on either side. So on an angle here, we're looking at around 9 inches or so. I know it's not super technical. We can go from this angle here. It's about 8 inches. So like I mentioned, just use the little dimple on the actual mid-pipe for the M Performance muffler. So it's pretty straightforward. You can line things up. You can take the whole exhaust off and mark it off if you want to, but I figured I might as well just give you somewhat of a measurement so you get somewhat of an idea. So yeah, there's the stock crossover, stock mid-pipe with all the resonators and cats. And man, it is sounding so much better. It is the right amount of aggression. So let's go for a little drive. I'll get some sound clips for you guys and then we'll wrap it up. All right, so let's get some, I guess, in-cabin shots. I'm not going to be able to really hear too much, but I'll try to get some. Right now I'm just I'm in M mode. I'm in M2. I got the exhaust valves open, so it's the loudest it can be. Right now I'm driving in automatic just because I'm driving, but I'll put it in manual in a little bit. It sounds really good. I'm very, very happy with it. So I'll pop it over to manual. Let's open the window a little bit. Get on it a little bit. I got the windows down. Might be a little windy, but that sounds good, and this thing is fast. Holy crap. This sounds good. I'm happy with this. So happy with this. It's perfect. The gurgling, the burbles. So good. Sorry, I'm not really keeping the camera straight. That sounds awesome. Let's get another rip. See how this thing sounds. Man, I'm impressed. This is pretty good. Squeaky brakes, G80 things. All right, here we go. Let's get in this lane. That sounds good. Alright guys, so that is it for the ARM Motorsports H-Pipe, Mid-Pipe, and the crossover pipe. Personally, I think it sounds fantastic. It has the right amount of growl without being over the top. This is perfect for somebody that daily drives their car, which my friend does, and doesn't want anything too crazy or too droney or anything. There is zero drone whatsoever. It is perfect. When you close the valves just cruising on the highway, it sounds almost stock, but as soon as you open them up, it sounds fantastic. It honestly sounds the way that the G80 should have from the factory. Getting rid of those secondary cats and those two resonators were a huge, huge improvement. Now this car does have the carbon tune as well as the Daler exhaust valve controller, so you're able to open and close them, you know, at your leisure. You actually, I did a video on it. You can actually open and close the valves with the home link buttons on the mirror. Really, really nice feature. But this thing sounds fantastic, and it honestly now does this car justice. The only thing that I've been telling my buddy to do after all this is get this thing lowered because it is a 4x4. But I get it. We live in New Jersey. We see inclement weather. Again, he uses this every single day, so it's not something that he is definitely jumping on right away, but I for sure know he wants to lower it a little bit. I was telling him to go with the AST springs or even the KW sleeve over kit just so you can adjust it to where you want. But absolutely beautiful. Huge shout out to ARM Motorsports for sending this mid-pipe and crossover pipe over to us so we can do an install on this. I haven't seen any videos on this exact mid-pipe yet, but to be honest, I am very, very impressed with the overall fitment, the quality. I actually have a few ARM Motorsport parts on my own F80. I have their catless resonated downpipes. I also have their J-pipe as well. I'm going to leave a link below for this exact mid-pipe as well as a crossover pipe, so if you want to pick it up, highly recommend it. I'm trying to get him to do some downpipes in the future as well. He actually is going to do the carbon tune, the update actually. BMW, they released an update which gives you another, I think 45 or 50 horsepower, so this thing is pretty nuts to begin with. I think it's around 575 plus another 50 or so. Going to be absolutely wild. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all about the mid-pipe, the car, anything else at all, please leave in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.